Freeholders, Zor. Here. Chairman Tenelli.
Evidence of a quorum is present. Would everyone please rise for the pledge of allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the
flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Will the clerk please read the minutes to be accepted?
June 8, 2016 is a work session, all present. June 22nd, 2016 was a work session, Freeholders Zor was absent. July 6, 2016 work session, all present. And July 13, 2016 is a work session, Freeholders Zor absent.
Have a motion to open the public meeting?
I'll make the motion.
Oh, wait a minute, wait.
Yeah, we don't have it. Okay, that's what I thought. A motion to accept the minutes? Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. We have a motion to open the meeting to the public.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. We will now have the hearing of the general public with a 3-minute time limit in effect in accordance with the Bergen County Freeholders Bylaws, Section 1, Page 6, Item 2:4-8, adopted January 6, 2016. The Board Attorney will keep the time. When the time of the speaker expires, the timekeeper will announce that the time has expired. Please fill out a slip of paper with your name, address, and general topic. Mr. Claude Beanstock.
Welcome back.
Thank you. Good evening. I have an issue that I'm really concerned about. The new parking rules. It's terrible, it stinks. The tenant outside told me I have to park for 1 hour free in the new garage over there, and the second hour it's $4 an hour. Well, I'm not paying it. I pay enough in taxes. I'll find another parking spot somewhere. Meanwhile, this parking garage is totally empty. There are almost no cars there. And the outside parking is for the handicap. That's okay with me if you want that for the handicap. But that garage, there's plenty of room there. And I park there all the time in that garage, or I parked in that lot outside. So the next issue, I only have 3 minutes, and I don't want to dwell too much on the parking. It's a boring topic. Is the William Carlos Williams Center in Rutherford. There's been some progress there, and I'm happy about that. And I'd like to see the whole thing come to fruition, even if it takes another 8, 10, 15, 20 years. We need to support the cultural arts. I mean, there's a need for theater in Rutherford, for real live rock and roll shows, and concerts, and lectures, and discussions, and group meetings, and things that support the cultural arts, because there are people that are interested in the cultural arts. I'm not the only one in northern New Jersey who likes the cultural arts. I mean, I have a cultural arts background, a show business background, but it's not just because of me. I think it's good for the public. So do what you have to do, and do something about the parking situation, because this is terrible, and I don't agree with it, and I know I'm very opinionated, and you know, maybe I can't change the situation, but you know, if I don't speak up, maybe nobody else will. So I have to say my piece. Thank you. Thank you very much for thank you very much. I appreciate your giving me the opportunity to talk.
So just so you know, Mr. Beanstock, you were misinformed by that parking attendant. There is no charge after hours to park here. So he must have either directed you into the wrong, the administrator will speak to it as well, but he must have either directed you to the wrong place or did not give you the proper information.
Well, I didn't know. I just listened to
we're letting you know now.
What she told me. That's what she told me. She may have had the wrong facts. I didn't know.
Well, that's correct. And after the meeting, if you need my assistance, I'll escort you down to make sure that the ticket gets validated so you do not pay for parking. And that would go for anyone else this evening if you're actually in the pay lot to come to attend this meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Paul Nichols.
Good evening, Paul Nichols, N-I-C-K-E-L-S. I find it now, but good evening. It's nice to be back. But there's been a lot of stuff in the news lately, and, you know, with the mental health and the healthcare system, and I don't know if you guys advocate for us to, like, Department of Human Services and the state and stuff like that. I don't know how it works, but there's just been so many, everything from the woman on 46 that got struck to another person, you know, the Carlstadt incident, and just so many stuff with hospitals discharging people that are not stabilized, or to them they say they're stabilized and then they're not, and there's just been really way too many problems. I don't know, I was on the phone with Michelle the other day and I said, Michelle, am I just noticing more of this, or has this been this bad all along? And I just think it's getting a lot worse. And the big thing that came up in the news recently was the Diaz thing. You know, everybody lost. Nobody wins. The probation officers, I know them personally. The police, the family. I mean, how many people have to die before we do, you know, and the cops that they said he was in the hospital, the person was in the hospital twice. There's so many other incidents going on. I don't know, I couldn't even go through, I'm still going through more. But it's just, and Department of Human Services wants to put funding towards something new of getting people out of psychiatric hospitals. I think that's wrong. We have a problem that's not being corrected now. Why are we dealing with something that's already done? We need more money for people that are not getting help now. So that's all I really wanted to say. Thank you. It's really good to see all of you again. It seems like forever, actually. But good news, the new resource guide is out, so I think you'll all get a copy of that soon. Thank you very much.
So, Mr. Nickel, I don't want to take any of your time, but you are aware that this board collectively over the last 2 years has increased funding to mental health.
Oh, absolutely.
Just so you know that
I know
we're
the county
committed to do whatever we can.
Yes, sir. I know you guys have. It's the
Right.
state and federal government that's the problem.
Right, okay, thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Happy birthday, Paul.
Thank you.
Kathleen Mazzacola.
Mazzuccolo.
3 minutes.
It's like I have to learn to spell it when I was 5. I'm the staff attorney for AFSCME Council 52. We represent several bargaining units at Bergen Regional Medical Center. And I'm here because of the transition that will take place at some point with Bergen Regional. And I grew up in Bergen County. I have petitions for everybody, for you, which I'll leave, and they explain our 10 principles that we're looking for. But I grew up in Bergen County. My family has very long roots in Bergen County. And we have also had very many instances where family members of mine have been serviced at Bergen Regional, formerly Bergen Pines. My grandfather was a World War I vet. During World War I, he contracted tuberculosis. Bergen Pines at the time was the only hospital in the area that had facilities to take care of someone like my grandfather. He was cured. He survived. They did a great job. My cousin, during the polio epidemic in the early 50s, contracted polio. At that time, Bergen Pines was the only facility in the area that had iron lungs. My cousin spent a year in one of the iron lungs at Bergen Regional. He survived. He's still alive. Basically, what I want to emphasize is how important that facility is and how unique that facility is for the needs, to meet the needs of Bergen County and people from other counties as well. And how important it is that you have a facility that really cares about the residents and the patients. And I can tell you, because I know many, many of our members, that they do. They're dedicated, and as are the other employees in the hospital. When you consider the transition, what we hope that you will do is take into account how important that facility is to meet the needs of the people here, and how important it is to have professional employees who really care about the patients, employees who know that and can be proud that they work at that facility. I thank you for the time, and I have petitions here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Lou Vellucci.
You want me to spell it?
Yes, please.
V-E-L-L-U-C-C-I.
Thank you.
Thanks. It's great to be here again. And I know I was just thinking about something, in terms of the two issues I want to talk to you about today. One of them is wildlife, again, the other one is education. And ironically, Bergen County, I would argue, is probably the largest stakeholder in wildlife in the state. You may not happen to live near it, but I would think that we have the greatest population. And what I'm asking you to do today is consider two things. I want to share some good information for you because I know you all are very busy. It's going to do a much better job than me. There's a video that was downloaded today on YouTube. You could find it on Facebook or on the tweet Bear Group. That's capital B-E-A-R, capital G-R-O-U-P, Bear Group. There's a video. I want you to look at it. And if you want, it's on my Facebook page too. You can see all the nutty stuff on there as well. But anyway, the two things I want to ask you is if you could go ahead and make a resolution to have no bear hunting in Bergen County, number one, and two, to use your influence to pressure the state to have no hunt in October. We have a very short timeline here, but guess what? Florida did. Florida canceled their bear hunt. They did the right thing. It was right after that tragedy with the shooting. They gave into political pressure. So it can be done. And by the way, the mayor of Baltimore today just had a fantastic quote. I saw it on CNN. Transparency is the only foundation for trust. What does that have to do with bears? Your New Jersey Department of Fish and Wildlife is not transparent like you all. That's the problem. You know, less than 1/10 of 1% of the population participates in this. We need to be humane, we need to be good people. So I'm asking for your help. No bear hunting in Bergen County and pressure the state to cancel October's bear hunt. The second issue I want to tell you, I was reading the paper the other day, I read the Record almost daily, and I'm an educator, and you got the Partnership for the Assessment and Readiness of Careers in College. I said, well, that's kind of interesting. What do we mean? That all students have to go to college or have a career? What happened to the homemaker? Ironically, the homemaker makes great students, which then in turn get great scores. And if you want, refer back to George Gilder. He's an economist. He counseled President Reagan. You know, he brought up the point. He said, you know, homemakers, they're not in the GDP, but look at the valuable service they provide. So there, and also just a local state issue. I don't want you to think I'm like anything the state does is bad. I actually think that Governor Christie's on the right track with saying we need to change the formula for the school. Not necessarily because of the money issue, because we're focusing on the wrong thing. It's not just money that's going to get you higher test scores. It's values. So I'm recommending it become the Partnership for the Assessment of Readiness in Careers, College, and Citizenship. Add another C to that one. So anyway, what? I'm done.
3 minutes.
3 minutes?
Thank you. Jeffrey Peck.
Hi, my name is Jeff Peck. I represent the healthcare professional and the allied employees at Bergen Regional Medical Center. And I'm here tonight side by side with my ASME brothers and sisters and Kathy Massacola. And we have a small sampling from my local. We have social workers, certified alcohol, drug counselors, RNs, all the unions across the board at the hospital are encouraging you to do the right thing. I have some more of the petitions given out. Right on the top it says, your support is needed to correct the mistakes of privatization of Bergen Regional Medical Center.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. For many residents of Bergen and nearby communities, and in fact, nowadays, all the residents in the state, they use Bergen Regional because it's the only place that they can go to receive care in treating substance abuse and mental health conditions. Our hospital is also the hospital of last resort for primarily Medicaid and uninsured patients. We're here tonight because you have the authority to monitor the management of Bergen Regional and to make sure that they maintain a safe and healthy facility for our patients and our employees. As reported in the news, the current operator has neglected to address many of the concerns raised by the Bergen Regional Medical Center employees and patients of unsafe conditions, including violence, with no real solutions offered by management. HBA and other union collection partners have reported frequent incidents of short staffing, which is a contributor to workplace violence and can lead to medical errors. As the management is transitioning out, the staffing is getting worse. Managers are fleeing. Some good ones are getting other jobs. They've padded their resumes. They don't know what's going to be happening. The upper management does not seek to replace either the managers or the frontline staff that leaves. I myself have been mandated in violation of the state law to stay into my next shift, the last time being last Tuesday, August 2nd, because there's nobody to come in on a Tuesday morning, and they blame workers who call out sick, who are themselves stressed out, and it's getting worse. They have no desire to hire people that they are not going to work for them. In addition to the safety concerns, there's also been limited oversight of the finances or the physical condition of the hospital. You guys are all aware of all this. Without proper oversight, the current operators have not shared with the public information of self-dealing and conflicts of interest, or they've invested in improvements that will provide greater security for patients and workers, because they haven't provided any improvement. I'm sorry, you guys are all aware of the stuff that they do, how they let little problems become big problems. I just want to thank you and support you. We only brought a small sampling. We think that you're doing the right thing, and if you need any help, please give us a call and we'll be with you. Godspeed for you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. There being no other slips, have a motion to close.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Public hearing is now closed. Will the clerk please read the resolutions on consent agenda?
Resolutions on consent tonight are 837-16 through 861-16. 861-16, 865-16 through 870-16, 872-16 through 880-16, and 882-16 through 895-16.
May I have a motion to accept the resolutions
So
on
moved.
consent?
Second. Mr. Chairman, if I might, as a point of order, I know we spoke this earlier. I asked that resolution 890 be placed on non-consent.
890?
Please.
Would all the other aforementioned resolutions remain on the consent agenda?
Please call the roll.
Freeholder DeNicola?
Yes.
Freeholder Feliz?
Yes.
Freeholder Gans is absent. Freeholder Sullivan?
Yes.
Freeholder Voss?
Yes.
Freeholder Zor?
Yes.
Chairman Tinelli?
Yes. Are there any resolutions of non-consent pulled or tabled? If so, will the clerk please read?
There are 862-16 is a resolution authorizing to approve the repurposing of 2000 trust fund improvement project contract to fund parks and recreation master plan study and habitat restoration at Teaneck Creek Park, Teaneck.
May I have a motion to introduce?
So moved. Second.
Call the roll.
Freeholder Di Nicola.
Abstain?
Freeholder Felice.
Yes.
Freeholder Gans is absent. Freeholder Sullivan.
Yes.
Freeholder Boss.
Yes.
Freeholder Zor.
Yes.
Chairman Tinelli.
Yes.
The next one is 863-16, which is a resolution authorizing an agreement with Rutgers University Center for Urban Environmental Sustainability to provide the park master planning service. I can't read the handwriting here, that's why. I can't read the handwriting. Sorry. Freeholder.
May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Please call the roll.
Freeholder Di Nicola.
No?
Freeholder Felice.
Yes.
Freeholder Gans is absent. Freeholder Sullivan.
Yes.
Freeholder Boss.
Yes.
Freeholder Zor.
Yes.
Chairman Tinelli.
Yes.
The next one is 864-16, which is a resolution authorizing contract award to Advantage provision of event consultant and production company services, RFP 16-010.
May I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Call the roll, please.
Freeholder Di Nicola.
No?
Freeholder Felice.
Yes.
Freeholder Gans is absent. Freeholder Sullivan.
Yes.
Freeholder Boss.
Yes.
Freeholder Zor.
Yes.
Chairman Tinelli.
Yes.
The next one is 871-16, which is a resolution authorizing the purchase order to Winter Ford to provide and deliver 3 2017 Ford Utility Explorer 4-wheel drives.
May I have a motion?
So moved. Second?
Call the roll, please.
Freeholder Di Nicola.
No?
Freeholder Felice.
Yes.
Freeholder Gans is absent. Freeholder Sullivan.
Yes.
Freeholder Boss.
Yes.
Freeholder Zor.
Yes.
Chairman Tinelli.
Yes.
The next one, non-consent, is 881-16, which is a resolution authorizing the purchase order to Winter Ford to provide and deliver 3 2017 Ford Utility Explorers all-wheel drive.
May I have a motion to introduce?
So moved.
Second?
Please call the roll.
Freeholder Di Nicola.
No?
Freeholder Felice.
Yes.
Freeholder Gans is absent. Freeholder Sullivan.
Yes.
Freeholder Boss.
Yes.
Freeholder Zor.
Yes.
Chairman Tinelli.
Yes.
There's one more, 890-16 on non-consent. Let me just pull it up.
May I have a motion to introduce?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Please call the roll.
1 second. Extra paperwork here. Okay, who motioned that?
John Felice, seconded by Joan Boss.
Okay, Freeholder Di Nicola.
No?
Freeholder Felice.
Yes.
Freeholder Gans is absent. Freeholder Sullivan.
Yes.
Freeholder Boss.
Yes.
Freeholder Zor.
Yes.
Chairman Tinelli.
Yes.
And that is it.
Now go on to ordinance for first reading and introduction, ordinance 16-15, 16 and 16-17. Will the clerk please read ordinance 16-15 by title only?
Okay, ordinance 16-15 is a bond ordinance providing for the various capital improvements by the County of Bergen, appropriating the aggregate amount of $1,942,500, therefore and authorizing the issuance of $1,848,000 bonds or notes of the county to finance part of the cost thereof.
We have a motion to introduce ordinance 16-15 as read by the clerk.
So moved. Second.
Please call the roll.
Freeholder Di Nicola.
Yes.
Freeholder Felice. Freeholder Gans is absent. Freeholder Sullivan.
Yes.
Freeholder Boss.
Yes.
Freeholder Zor.
Yes.
Chairman Tinelli.
Yes.
Ordinance 16-15 passes first reading.
Will the clerk please read ordinance 16-16 by title only?
Ordinance 16-16 is a bond ordinance providing for various capital improvements by the County of Bergen, appropriating the aggregate amount of $283,000, therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $268,500 in bonds and notes of the county to finance part of the cost thereof.
I have a motion to introduce ordinance 16-16 as read by the clerk.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Freeholder Di Nicola.
Yes?
Freeholder Felice.
Yes.
Freeholder Gans is absent. Freeholder Sullivan.
Yes.
Freeholder Boss.
Yes.
Freeholder Zor.
Yes.
Chairman Tinelli.
Yes.
Ordinance 16-16 passes first reading.
Will the clerk please read ordinance 16-17 by title only?
Ordinance 16-17 is an bond ordinance providing for various capital improvements by the County of Bergen, appropriating the aggregate amount of $777,500, therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $739,500 in bonds or notes of the county to finance part of the cost thereof.
I have a motion to introduce ordinance 16-17 as read by the clerk.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Freeholder Di Nicola.
Yes?
Freeholder Felice.
Yes.
Freeholder Gans is absent. Freeholder Sullivan.
Yes.
Freeholder Boss.
Yes.
Freeholder Zor.
Yes.
Chairman Tinelli.
Yes.
Ordinance 16-17 passes first reading.
We also have second reading and adoption of ordinance 16-14. Will the clerk please read ordinance 16-14 by title only?
The proof of publication of ordinance notice of public hearing was published in the Record and Herald News on Sunday, July 31st, 2016. It is on file in my office. A copy of the notice of the hearing and ordinance number 16-14 was duly posted pursuant to NJSA 48:2-17 on Friday, July 29th, 2016. The title is read as the following. Bond ordinance providing for the replacement of the Midtown Bridge spanning the Hackensack River between the city of Hackensack and the borough of Bogota by the County of Bergen, appropriating $750,000, therefore including a grant in the amount of $750,000 expected to be received from the State of New Jersey Department of Transportation, and authorizing the issuance of $750,000 in bonds or notes of the county to finance the cost thereof.
I have a motion to open a hearing on ordinance 16-14 to the public.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Well, now the public hearing is now open with a 5-minute time limit to speak about ordinance 16-14 only at this time. The board attorney will keep the time. When the time of the speaker expires, the timekeeper will announce that the time has expired. Anyone wishing to speak on ordinance 16-14? Not seeing anyone, may I have a motion to close the hearing on ordinance 16-14 to the public? All in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. The public hearing on ordinance 16-14 is closed. Is there any board discussion or comment on ordinance 16-14? Seeing none, may I have a motion to adopt ordinance
So moved.
16-14?
Second.
Please call the roll.
Freeholder Di Nicola.
Yes?
Freeholder Felice.
Yes.
Freeholder Gans is absent. Freeholder Sullivan.
Yes.
Freeholder Boss.
Yes.
Freeholder Zor.
Yes.
Chairman Tinelli.
Yes.
Ordinance 16-14 is adopted on second reading.
We'll now have freeholder reports. For everyone, they mentioned a little earlier, if we can keep them down around 5 minutes, would be appreciated. Freeholder Sullivan.
I'll start yet until I turn this thing on. Okay. Good evening, everyone. I'd first like to congratulate Bergen County. I'm sure everyone saw in the paper for being recognized by the federal government for eliminating homelessness amongst our veterans. What a fantastic achievement. Obviously, the other counties can learn from the way we do things here. Our veterans have made the ultimate sacrifice, there's no doubt about that. So this, in my opinion, is the least we could do for our veterans when they come home and they fall into a bad way. I think some people don't believe in government taking care of people, but when it comes to our veterans, I certainly believe that we need to be there for them, and I think that's the role of government, whether people like to hear it or not. I don't want to get too confrontational, that's it. This evening, the Freeholder Board passed Resolution 860-16, which provides $214,000 grant to Alfred Thomas Home for Veterans for the Homeless Management Information System. This is another step that we can take to improve the lives of the veterans of Bergen County. And as you can tell, we are very passionate. Our county executive has made it one of his main things, along with this Freeholder Board, about how passionate we are about taking care of our veterans. And like our chairman mentioned earlier, our commitment to mental health. These are the things that, unfortunately, people, they cost money, but we're going to continue to do because this is money, in my opinion, that's well spent. I'm also pleased that the Open Space Trust Fund is moving forward with the acquisition of the Galaxy Garden property in Woodcliff Lake. It's one of the reasons why Bergen County is a special place to live. We need to maintain as much open space as we can, and being from the Pascagoula Valley, I'm glad to see that we're doing it all over, not just in certain areas. So, this property happens to sit in Woodcliff Lake, across the street from the Municipal Historical Park. So, what a great place to have open space. People have touched before on Bergen Regional, and I'm sure Freeholders Zora will be much more eloquent than I when coming to explain this. But through her efforts, you know that we have all, along with Joan Voss last year, Freeholder Voss, excuse me.
That's fine.
We led the charge to Bergen Regional for more detox beds. I'm glad to say that last year they added some, and they just added, 10 more, Tracy? 10 more. So Freeholders Zora and I went to Bergen Regional. We saw there 10 new beds. It's an area where, as everyone knows, it used to be the Bergen Pines, so there was a jail area. We've transformed that, reformed, did some construction, made it look really nice, and we have more beds, and there's more beds coming. And I can honestly say that Freeholders Zora is out in front of this, and I really appreciate her efforts, and I'm glad to be along for the ride. Anything I can do, I'm going to continue to help. But when we're talking about Bergen Regional, some people spoke about it earlier. Believe me, I am a big fan of Bergen Regional. It is a place that I've said last year when I ran, that to me it's a safety net for the county. It's a well-needed place, and I think we need to continue the services there and enhance them. And I'm sure that with the new contract coming up, that is what's going to take place. It is definitely a place that I don't know if people want to sell it. In my opinion, that would be doing a disservice to the entire county. It's a very important place. It's a very intricate place. People don't understand really what they do. They do a lot, and it's something we need here in Bergen County, and we will continue it. Thank you, Freeholder. That is my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Freeholder. Freeholder Zora? I mean, Freeholder Voss? Part of the alphabet.
She looks so young.
Thank you, Chairman. Just a few things. We passed an ordinance recently concerning the not allowing carnivals with wild animal attractions to perform in county parks. And a wonderful organization called the League of Humane Voters of New Jersey was responsible for this. And last Sunday, they were very appreciative. And I have to say, I have never worked with a nicer group of people who did things absolutely according to all the rules and regulations. They were wonderful, and they accomplished their goal. And I know they gave us certificates. Freeholder, Dina Kohler, and I were out there. And just as a point, one of the ladies in this organization wrote a book about the bears. Now, when I was in the legislature, I introduced a lot of legislation concerning not hunting the bears. I think it's cruel and inhuman. And every time I introduced it with other people, of course, it was never voted. Apparently there are some very important hunting groups that, and as I said, I think it's cruel and inhuman, and I think that there are much better ways of handling our bear population, which have wonderful family units, and we're encroaching on their territory, which is what's causing some of the problems. We celebrated Women's History Month in March, and on Memorial Day we celebrated Rosie the Riveter, and I mentioned a couple of things because I always have to give a little history lesson because I think certain things are very important. In World War II, 350,000 women served in the military, and they did all of the jobs and everything that had been men's jobs prior to them having to go into the military service. But after the war was over, the women were sent back to the kitchens, and none of them were allowed, the 350,000 women who served were entitled to the GI Bill of Rights. That to me was unconscionable. So, because I am one of the 53% of Americans who happen to be a woman, I wanted to be very, I wanted to speak out a little bit on Women's Equality Day. Now, Women's Equality Day is actually August the 26th, and I forgot, technology. August the 26th is actually Women's Equality Day, and what that is it's the 96th anniversary of the passage of the 19th Amendment. Now, women in the United States had to fight very, very hard to get the right to vote. And if anybody ever tells you that one vote doesn't make a difference, please, please, please never give up your right to cast your ballot, regardless of what the issue is. In order for an amendment to go into effect, 2/3 of the states have to ratify it. And in 1919, it was down to the Tennessee legislature, which would be I think it was the 32nd state back in those days when we didn't have 50 states, to ratify it. And it was 48 to 48. And a young person, 24-year-old legislator, was going to cast the last vote. And before he went to that Senate, into that legislature, his mother had written him a note and said, "Be a good boy and give the ladies the vote." And by one vote, the 19th Amendment was passed. Now, just as another point, when I was very young, there was a proposed 27th Amendment. In fact, I still have a button that says 27. And it was the ERA, the Equal Rights Amendment. Now, I'm not a big demonstrator, but certainly when it came to equal rights, I was out there in the front lines. And it got down to the last vote in order for it to become the 27th Amendment. And by one vote, it was defeated, and it has never really gone into effect. The states have passed Equal Rights Amendment, but the federal government has not done so. And the 27th, there is a 27th Amendment, but it gave raises to Congress. So. Just as a point, we in the United States always think we're in the vanguard of everything, but we were one of the last of the modern nations to give women the right to vote. Australia was before us, Finland, Sweden, Great Britain, and so we still, and I mentioned a minute ago, 53% of the population, only 6 out of 50 governors are women, and in the state legislatures and in the federal government legislature, less than 25%. In fact, usually it's 20% of the legislators are women. Now, we in Bergen County are pretty good because we always have a good representation of women, and I'm sure it will increase in the future. But that's really an important thing. The one thing I hope everybody attended the night out, which was August the 2nd. Very important that we get to know our police and our firemen and our EMT people, and have people know who to call when they need assistance, and to be very cognizant of the important role our police and fire and EMT play. And I just want to, again, reinforce what my friend, Freeholder, Sullivan said. Bergen Regional, I have fought for Bergen Regional for all the years I've been in government. I will continue to fight for Bergen Regional. It is imperative that we keep this hospital, and I bless you all for coming here and making the public aware, as we have tried to make the public aware of how important that hospital is. And thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I hope I wasn't too long, but this was a passionate thing.
Freeholder Felice?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let me just speak briefly about, as my other colleagues have spoken about, Bergen Regional. As a member of the task force, my main objective was to make sure that there was going to be strong oversight by the government of Bergen County. It's all about patient care. It's all about the safety of the employees that work there. I grew up in Fairlawn. I live in River Edge. I pass Bergen Regional probably 3 or 4 times a week. It is one of the biggest public hospitals in the country. It provides services that many other institutions don't provide. So how do we make this transition a safe one for both patients, not just in Bergen County, but throughout the state of New Jersey, and for the employees that serve these, they're dedicated workers that have committed their entire careers to caring for people that really can't care for themselves in many respects. As we move forward with the administration looking at the management partners that the County of Bergen will go into with, I think it's imperative that the implementation be as vigilant as the process by which that Freeholder Zora and I were, I can't speak for her, but as vigilant and as intense about the need to make sure that the elected officials, the government of Bergen County, has transparency and the ability to act on the policies that are implemented at Bergen Region, not necessarily the day-to-day operations, but a strong, I'll call it board of directors, from different facets. I spoke with County Executive Tedesco and Freeholders down in Trenton to speak on that matter. This is not about Republicans or Democrats, it's about people. And I've been in healthcare for close to 30 years, and I remember one of my colleagues speaking to me about it's about the patient. It has to be patient-centric. We have to utilize best practices. We have to look at evidence-based medicine that achieves the goals that are set forth. And I believe that in the next few months, whether I'm on the board or not, I have the greatest confidence in this illustrious body and the county executive and the representatives of of that committee, that they will do the right thing. But certainly your presence here is important, because you work there doesn't mean you don't have a right to speak out. You certainly do. I will continue to advocate for good health care, accessible health care, safe environment for the workers there, as long as I'm a freeholder and as I become a private citizen again. So those are my comments, Mr. Chairman, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Freeholder. Freeholder Dean Nicola.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Sorry about that. I'll talk quickly. A couple of things. My colleagues mentioned a lot of what was going on over the last few weeks. It certainly hasn't seemed like summer to us, I'll say. Our calendars have been busier than ever, but it is quickly passing. Summer always seems to go faster than winter. Access for All. Access for All is the disabilities advisory committees in municipalities across Bergen County, and I've continued to present before our governing bodies. Last night I was in Maywood. Maywood is reappointing their committee, and they have a lot of energetic members now on, and they look forward to working with other committees in their region and throughout Bergen. We have 3 more presentations coming up. We're almost halfway through. We have 70 municipalities in Bergen, and really working on the goal of getting a committee in each one of those towns. Seniors, continuing to work with the Senior Coalition of Bergen County, which is a group of nonprofits and some for-profit organizations. A lot of issues for our seniors continue to grow. And some of those issues dovetail with our veterans too. As was mentioned earlier, Bergen County reached the milestone of providing housing for every homeless veteran, which is great. But our veterans are an aging population for the most part as well. We do have a lot of young veterans, but we do have veterans from World War II and forward who need additional services now as they come to this point in their life. Today also, I know there was an event for the employer support of the Guard and Reserve. This is an organization that encourages support from different employers of their membership who are active military members in the Guard and the Reserves. And I had the fortune, I'll say, of traveling with them when I was the mayor of Franklin Lakes in a transport plane to Tyndall Air Force Base in Florida. It was a one-day trip, and the idea was to bring all elected officials to Florida to meet those members of our community right before they were going to be deployed. And it was eye-opening. We saw people from all over the country. I think it is so important that in addition to having singular events, that every day we remember our veterans and our active duty military. I have to say I flew in the cockpit because it was an Air Force plane, and the joke was they wanted to show me what real pilots could do. As you know, my son and my daughter-in-law are Navy pilots, but it was all everyone working together. The Women's Equality Day event that we had here, as was mentioned, was wonderful. And I just want to thank Jamie Siegelhofer and Donna Pesco from our Department of Human Services who work with the commission and help guide the young women and the commission itself to do the many wonderful things that they do for Bergen County. National Night Out was also one of the dry nights in Bergen County, which was important. But it was great. I got to almost 5 towns before dark. It's like a marathon because it's essentially a 2-hour event for each town where the families come out to meet their emergency services. I started in Teaneck, and I was there with the prosecutor and Paul Fishman, who is our U.S. Attorney for the District of New Jersey, and he happens to be a Bergen County boy. He was raised in River Edge, Freeholder.
There you go.
So he came up here to check out what we're doing. And he was duly impressed, as he should be. I do want to thank the League of Humane Voters. They did give us beautiful awards with a tiger on it, not a bear, but a tiger. But we do love our bear. Even when we have very personal encounters with them in our backyards, which I did this Monday, certainly majestic animals. That's what I'll say. Not their fault that we're sharing the same woods. And the last thing is summer concerts, which have also taken us throughout Bergen County. A lot of towns have free open-air summer concerts. The schedule is getting very tight with all the rescheduling because of thunderstorms, but it's been a great way to meet a lot of people throughout the county. And the last thing I'll say is at those concerts, it's a mix of citizens, but mainly young families and senior citizens. And they're both looking for the same thing. They're looking for a way that they can continue to stay here in New Jersey, where we can work to make our state an affordable place to live and to die. And that's why we do the work we do up here. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That's my report.
I forgot to mention you saw me, so you mentioned Paul Fisher.
Oh, I saw you in Milford. Well, Freeholders, Sullivan and I are very often out every night, and you can imagine why.
Is there an election?
All right, Freeholders, sir.
Thank you, Chairman. First of all, I want to join my colleagues in thanking so many members who are working in Bergen Regional Medical Center for turning out. As Freeholder fully said, we spent much of this year working on this advisory panel, and what we knew at the outset, but what was certainly reconfirmed by the very diverse, bipartisan group that was this advisory panel, this hospital is vital. Its future is vital to this county, and we are committed to making sure that it continues to provide high-quality, high-caliber medical treatment to those in our community who are most at risk, and that we continue to embrace its mission and make sure that our employees there are safe. And so I just thank you for making sure that your voices continue to be at the forefront of this issue, because you're the ones on the scene who really can articulate so eloquently the true needs of this community. So thank you for your involvement and for your being here tonight. As was also mentioned, we had a tremendous achievement in Bergen County this week with ending veteran homelessness. And this was not something that was achieved by any one individual. It was a huge team effort championed by Julia Orlando and Lynn Bartlett, AJ Luna, and so many here at the county building, but also our corporate partners who really made sure that we can continue to have solutions for our veterans and make sure that we have safe places for them to call home. So this was an enormous achievement, underscored as well by the law enforcement show of support where I was this morning. This was applauding businesses who employ, oh, I'm sorry, I'm so not used to this technology. Thank you. Who employ our veterans and who make sure that their employment is there when they get back from their service. And really, the sheriff received an award. He has 9 or 10 members of his staff who are reservists. And really, as far as making sure that our veterans are served on the employment front as well. So in Bergen County, we are really committed to that continuum of care for those who sacrifice their lives to make sure that ours are safe. As Freeholder Sullivan stated before, we toured Bergen Regional Medical Center and saw the improvements that they're making as far as the detox unit. When we started this, we were at 54 beds. And with a lot of pushing and shoving and encouragement, we are now at 74, and the next 10 should be online this fall. This is an important thing as we're facing this heroin epidemic in Bergen County, and we are making sure that that no one gets there and finds that there's no room at the inn. That when they're ready for the services, that when they're ready to get treatment, that we're there to provide it for them so that individuals battling addiction can get the treatment they need to put their lives back on track. I also was at National Night Out. I did South Hackensack, Edgewater, Fairview, and Cliffside Park. And what was so wonderful this year, especially for National Night Out, was seeing the different character that each one of these celebrations has, and really how it reflects the individual communities, but also seeing how our law enforcement goes out of their way every day to engage in community policing. This is something that is new on the national front, but it's certainly not new in Bergen County, where our officers are constantly getting to know our neighbors and our neighborhoods and continue to make those strides. So I just wanted to thank all of those municipalities involved and all of those police departments for the outreach that they're doing and continue to do. One of the things that I was very lucky to get to see this week was a drone demonstration. We in Bergen County are at the forefront of utilizing technology to deal with emergency response. And whether that emergency response is to a fire, to an active shooter situation, we have the tools here and have the training and the ability to make sure that we're using technology to save human life, and most importantly, respecting privacy at the same time. So it was wonderful for Senator Booker to come to Bergen County, see our drones in action, and really get a frontline view of how this new technology is going to further enhance our emergency response. And that, Chairman, is all I have for tonight. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Freeman. As you can tell, there's a lot of things that we all do a lot. We participate a lot together, so you hear some things that are repeated. So I try not to repeat what everyone else says. There are two things that I'd just like to mention really quickly, and one is Night Out Against Crime. With what's going on in this country, now more than ever, night out is important. It shouldn't just be one night. We travel with police officers, we travel with our emergency services in the towns that we visit, where they're out there meeting neighbors that are having block parties for the main reason for meeting everyone, new residents, people within a 3 or 4 block radius. Some towns do full block, basically full town shutdowns. Cliffside Park actually closes streets off and brings in 500-600 people, all to interact with law enforcement in town. It's very important that communities know their police and their police know them. So now more than ever, we need to do our best to support National Night Out. The other thing is, I'd like to also thank you for coming. It's obvious by the comments from my colleagues just how important Bergen Regional is to us. We say it all the time. I think we show it by our actions. I think this administration and this Freeholder Board know just how important the next 6 months are for that facility. And we are keeping our eyes and ears open every step of the way to make sure that that facility, we don't make the same mistake that was made 19 years ago with an absolute horrendous agreement. Now to nice things. So last Thursday was our last terrific Thursday free concert in the park at Over Peck County Park. The band was The Beginnings, the Chicago Tribute Band. We broke a record with well over 1,000 people that attended. So my colleague mentioned how these free concerts that each town has, they have a lot of the same groups. What I begin to notice is not just the interaction between the youth and the seniors, just the interaction of everyone. It's an opportunity for people to come out and get out of their houses on a beautiful summer night. We had the fortune this year, all 4 of the concerts that the county had, we had absolutely beautiful weather. A nice breeze, it was comfortable, wasn't buggy because of the breeze, and people came out. And that's what it's all about. Just like Night Out Against Crime, I mentioned we all need to interact. Same thing. People come out, they talk, when you just stand and observe and watch everyone interact, people that don't know each other, they know each other when they're done singing 15 Chicago songs. So, just to let everybody know that that's been so successful that the county has now started the Zoo Flicks at Van Saun Park. So please look at our website to see when those movies are. I think there's 2 a night. They're showing children's movie, 2 a week, I'm sorry. The first movie is a movie for children, and then the Friday movie, I believe, is a little more for older children and adults, just so that we can mix up the movies and who's attending. So please come out and enjoy the free movies. So that's the end of my report.
Mr. Chairman, please.
Sure.
A few weeks ago, we had discussed having an overview of the Bergen regional legislation. Maybe that would be a good thing. I know it's still pending, and our county administrator was going to present that, and I'm sure that would be important for the people who are here as well.
So when do you think you'd be prepared to do that?
The time frame for the governor to act actually, I think, expires tomorrow. So we're waiting to see if there's either going to be a conditional veto or what the situation is going to be with the legislation.
Okay.
So I would propose for the next meeting, perhaps for a work session or an evening session, we'd be in a position to summarize what the legislation was all about and what its fate has been at that point.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, if I could direct my comments to, hello? If I could direct my comments, liaison, red is all.
I did mention that before the meeting started.
Yeah, about 15 times,
We're
so.
slow.
This is new.
It gets back to my point is that maybe, could you give us any idea, and I'll speak through the chair, regarding the governor's intention as far as if tomorrow's the deadline, I guess at the end of the session, or this, the legislative session for this part of the year has terminated. Do you think that there will be an issue with the governor's side of it?
We haven't gotten a clear indication, and we actually sat down with the governor's council and went through the legislation and answered any questions, and we don't have a clear indication as to whether it's going to be signed or not.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you,
Okay, there being nothing further come before this meeting, may I have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. We are adjourned.